These people convert because they think that Orthodoxy is, and I quote, not afraid to protect one's country bearing a gun.
Oh yeah, here we go. He, by the way, is a pacifist who does not believe in self-defense. That is one of his podcasts, I do recall. That's another thing he says. So if you have a gun, oh my God, you're so bad. Oh. Now, Jesus gave principles of self-defense when he told the apostles, take a sword, right? Because at that time, it was appropriate to take a sword, to have self-defense. He told the Israelites in Exodus that you can defend yourself. It's not a call to war because it was appropriate for him to go to the cross to die. So the appropriate action at the appropriate time is what is orthodox, is what is godly. That's why the church has always accepted that there can be Christian soldiers. That's in the canons of Nicaea. There are great saints in the Orthodox Church who fought Islam and kept it at bay. And this man is piety signaling with a leftist agenda, a socialist agenda, hence why he's had Marxist socialists on. All right, let's see what. And this person is one of the worst, honestly. And I'm going from memory here. This person, this was just called to my attention. This man who makes the ugliest icons you have ever seen. And in my opinion, ugly aesthetics signifies some kind of ugly off in the faith realm or spiritual realm. Mole monastery, or should I say mole monetary icons. This looks like every 1960s liberal polished press Roman Catholic publication. This looks like Anglican queer theory publication from a so-called Orthodox monastery, Seraphim Aldea, one of the luminaries of ancient faith, who, if I recall, featured pro-BLM, pro-George Floyd, Marxist people on his podcast. So again, keep in mind, I'm bad, these people are good. Let's hear what he says about how the influx of converts is actually all Protestant. It's all Protestant. Debating is Protestant. So in other words, like the meme, everything that I don't like is Tiny Mustache Man. Everything I don't like is Protestant.
My dear ones, may God bless us wherever we are in this world. This is a topic that comes back again and again during our summer pilgrimages, when people travel to Mal and to Iona to spend time with our monasteries and our monastic community. It also recurrently pops up in our online meetings, when we have our Zoom meetings with the members of our online community and we get to exchange questions and we have a conversation every month. So I want to address this in a public way in the hope that this will answer the questions of many other people who are not our pilgrims or are not members of our online community. Very recently, in the last few years, post-pandemic in particular, the numbers of converts to Orthodoxy in the West has increased, particularly in places like the United States or Canada, but also in Western Europe. And people are a bit confused and they ask for my take on this increase. And the reason I struggle with this is that I am naturally, it will be wonderful, and yet one would struggle to find amongst these thousands of souls cramming in the church, one would struggle to find one single Christian soul. So I'm naturally inclined to not look at numbers and not to make more of them than what they really are. They are.
Okay, so the number of people converting doesn't matter, only the spiritual, inner, real conversion. Okay, that's super pious.
More people in church. So there is a greater responsibility for all of us to try our best to raise them up in Christ and to bring them onto their path for salvation. Also, I can't help but look at the fact that through a bunch of people, the Holy Apostles, God literally changed the world in a way that is still impacting our present lives, our present existence. And yet through the hundreds of millions of Orthodox Christians in the world today, God seems to struggle to have a similar impact on the world. And that of course makes me think, has God changed? Why this difference? Of course God has not changed. Have his intentions for the world changed? Of course.
Okay, we're 4 minutes in. Has he said anything? Come on, man.
Those have not changed either. So what must have changed is us and the quality of our faith, the quality of our standing before God, and the way in which we represent and be in the lives of those who do not know him. And this is where my pain comes from. Because after visiting your parishes, after visiting your homes for close to 15 years now, and after living in the midst of Western Christians, Orthodox Christians, for 15 years now, what I perceive is an insidious way of Protestantism to survive in the hearts and the minds of a very large proportion of these new converts.
Oh, so insidious Protestantism. I'm going to start to talk like this. I mean, can you not just sense that this guy's a weirdo? Come on, man.
Of ours. There's within the Orthodox faith in the West, there's almost a Protestant type of orthodoxy that is very clearly present and influencing now from within the type of orthodoxy, the type of faith that welcomes these new converts.
This is the guy, by the way, who, again, if I recall, going from memory like 5-6 years ago, would have BLM, George Floyd people on. Like, this was like, this is like a super sauce, dude. Come on.
And not only that, but this fake orthodoxy, this Protestant corruption of orthodoxy.
So all of you converts are fake Orthodox that converted because you have a Protestant mindset and you're infecting the church with your Protestant. I mean,
orthodoxy misrepresents the Orthodox faith before those who are attracted to the faith. So
he spent 5.5 minutes before just simply saying, I think that a lot of the converts are too Protestant in the Orthodox West. It took him 5.5 minutes with all this breathy, fake piety to say that.
These poor souls come in these new parishes, having heard some horrible, non-Orthodox, entirely Protestant things, mostly online.
He's talking about me. So the things I say are horrible, horrible Protestant things that are non-Orthodox. What's horrible? Give an example of something horrible. You notice that there's no specifics. It's all just vagaries and like what? What's the horrible thing?
And then they expect to find these realities in the parish where they convert. And they are scandalized almost very frequently by the fact that the reality of orthodoxy is not that which they've been told online. And thank God for the instances when they find a parish where they meet real Orthodox people.
So I'm not real Orthodox because I'm online, even though I am in a parish and I do go to church. And he's online, but he's the real Orthodox.
And they have a chance to taste real orthodoxy and not the corrupted Protestant version that one may find and does find online.
Well, does that mean that real orthodoxy is your Marxist, socialist, lib version? Is that the real orthodoxy? We need to find his the weirdos that he's had on his podcast in the past.
This Protestant Orthodoxy is driven by the wrong engines. It is not something that attracts these.
Can you not spot like a fake? I am trying to be pious for you. Listen to the breath that I give. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Souls. These souls do not run towards something. They run away from things. This Protestant version of
What does that even mean? The fake Orthodox converts, they don't run to something. They run away from something. This is like the Sphinx. If you've never watched the Sphinx from Mystery Men, where he says nothing in these vagaries and these vague phrases. So refresh yourself on the Sphinx there for the extreme piety. This is like when a piety signaler thinks of what the archetype of piety signaling is, he sees an image of this man.
Orthodoxy is motored, its engine is really in social issues and in politics, not in repentance, not in...
How does he know that all of the converts aren't repenting? Does he read hearts now? He's an elder with clairvoyance reading hearts, knowing that people aren't repenting. And again, how can this faith not touch politics and society? You can make an idol of politics, but that doesn't mean that politics and society isn't part of the faith. So it makes no sense.
Self-sacrifice. These people are converting because they do not want to belong to a church that ordains women.
Yeah, that's a good reason to leave a church. It's not the only reason. It's a good reason.
Or these people convert as I have been told to my face. Nobody can erase this experience from my mind because it happened to me in person. These people convert because they think that orthodoxy is, and I quote, not afraid to protect one's country bearing a gun.
Oh yeah, here we go. He, by the way, is a pacifist who does not believe in self-defense. That is one of his podcasts, I do recall. That's another thing he says. So if you have a gun, oh my God, you're so bad. Oh. Now, Jesus gave principles of self-defense when he told the apostles, take a sword, right? Because at that time, it was appropriate to take a sword, to have self-defense. He told the Israelites in Exodus that you can defend yourself. It's not a call to war because it was appropriate for him to go to the cross to die. So the appropriate action at the appropriate time is what is orthodox, is what is godly. That's why the church has always accepted that there can be Christian soldiers. That's in the canons of Nicaea. There are great saints in the Orthodox Church who fought Islam and kept it at bay. And this man is piety signaling with a leftist agenda, a socialist agenda, hence why he's had Marxist socialists on.
And there's nothing further away from the depth and the truth of orthodoxy than these nonsense, blasphemous ideas.
So the saints that were defenders of the West, defenders of their nations, are blasphemers according to this goblin. And yes, he is an actual goblin. Let's see what Hebrews 11 says about defending against invaders and foreigners when there is a call to defense. What shall I say, Paul says, about the images of who we should look to as great saints and heroes? Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, David, Samuel, who through their faith subdued kingdoms. This is Hebrews in the New Testament telling you that this is a great action of faith, even in the Old Testament, as a model. Wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped at the edge of the sword, and out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fights, and turned to flight the enemies of the alien, the foreigner. Does Seraphim Aldea sound at all like Paul? He just said Paul's a blasphemer for saying this.
The idea of Christian nationalism or a sort of Christian misogyny.
Oh, here we go. See, the lib agenda eventually makes its way out. It only takes a matter of time before the mask is off.
These are as heretical, as blasphemous, as saying that there is something like a Christian war.
No, it is heretical and blasphemous to repeat Enlightenment Protestant teaching, which is what you're teaching, Roger Williams's Baptist idea, that the state has no duty to God. How does any Orthodox person, who every Orthodox person knows about the history of Byzantium and the Christian Imperium and the Seventh Ecumenical Council, which calls the Imperium the God-ordained empire, how does any Orthodox person get the idea that there should not be a Christian state when there is a majority Orthodox Christian people? He's against the entire history of Russia. He is the heretic, not you. He is teaching Roger Williams' Baptist heresy, not us.
Christian murder. They are perfectly equal. The thought that somehow within Orthodoxy it is correct, God gives us permission to use violence of any sort in order to protect our borders.
Open borders. You should have open borders. This is pure, total globalist socialism. This man is a fraud. He's telling you literally what Klaus Schwab and Pope Leo want, which is that you have no right to your borders and you have no right to defend yourself against invaders, even though Hebrews 11 says that the great heroes of faith defended themselves. This man is a Marcionite and a Roger Williams level heretic.
That is pure heresy. The idea that somehow in Orthodoxy
He said having borders is pure heresy. Did you hear that?
That is pure heresy. To use violence of any sort in order to protect our borders, that is pure heresy.
These are the people that are against me. These are the people that hate what I do. Open socialist poop libs. That's who these people are.
The idea that somehow in Orthodoxy we go back 1,000 years ago, where a man was a man because he could go out and make war and do battle. This is the way you prove your manhood.
This is so gay, dude. I can't even. This is like just nobody but just. I can't watch the rest of this. Anyway, do we need to watch the rest of this? No, this is enough. So look, you want that? Be my guest. Go for it. You will not last very long if you think that is this religion, because this is just liberal crap. That's all that is. This man called St. Paisios a heretic by saying this. He's basically calling all of the classic. I mean, St. John Kronstadt was a monarchist. He's also a heretic. This guy is an absolute fraud. Now, let's put this into perspective. Compare the awful stuff that this guy in Ancient Faith are promoting versus what we push. Everybody with a sense of clarity and history and honesty knows that what I talk about is what the classical traditional Orthodox view has always been. There's no way you could have martyrs like Saint Stephen or kings and martyrs that fought Islam and defended their people, which the Russian church's document says is still legitimate to defend your people, if that guy is right. That guy is pushing a political agenda for open borders under the cloak of the fraud of being a Christian. Kelly, $5. In my Orthodox Church, it's OCA, I would say 80% of the converts became Orthodox because of you. That's why they're mad. That's why they're worried, because they want you to be a soy lib like him. H. Brazi, $10. This is the Dyer curse. Moving forward, we can see that anybody that criticizes you or any clergy or orthobro are going to get cooked. Well, remember, the people that you think are these great heroes are precisely the ones going to liberal Jewish magazines to write hit pieces on me. So there you go. That's your heroes. That's who you're siding with there. Now, I've never talked to any of these people. None of these people were ever on my radar. But when we gained an audience, suddenly I'm their enemy. When I never talked to any of these people, don't know any of these people. And how many of these people have actually reached out and never said, hey, you know what? I was wrong. What you said is correct. No. This is all 100% piety signaling fraud. And you notice the fake piety prepares the way for the heresies. He had to hit you with that emotional, breathy bunch of nonsense before he spewed actual nonsense. Sincere Hypocrite, $5. It's ironic how ecumenists claim to want unity, and yet they make open lists of the people that are to be avoided, which is divisive. This makes you think, well, the ecumenists only wants unity with other libs. They don't want don't want unity with people who aren't also subjective, relativistic, whatever. $5 from Kevin Roos. Dude said not to be political, and then he immediately starts mentioning feminist lines and open borders. Dude, when the people say not to be political, they mean don't be right wing. Let me brainwash you into my socialist garbage. JB Peltier, $5. To clarify about St. Paisios, he was in the military. So that would be an entailment of this argument that it is impossible to be a Christian or a saint to be in the military. I mean, this Canons of Nicaea said that this was a dispute in the early church. This guy's a Marcionite. All in Cain, $5. Thank you for the stream. I think a lot of catechumens are still discerning wolves from shepherds. Yeah, that's part of the reason we're doing this, is to tell and to remind people. And I don't spend a lot of time on drama. You guys know this. We haven't done a stream about any Orthodox drama in at least 2 or 3 years, even though it happens and I just ignore it. Now, a lot of these people were quiet over the last few years. I suspect, other clergy that I know suspect, that was because they were prepping for some big move like the push for the EP, or perhaps they're going to say and announce some big thing that Jay's bad. I don't know what they're going to do, but probably something like that. I don't care anymore. The other thing too is, like, I ignore this stuff for 3 years. If I say something in response, when they keep pressing against me and they keep doing this stuff, then I'm bad because I talk about it. That's really frustrating too. So I'm never supposed to reply when people constantly do this to me, all the way back almost 10 years. I hardly ever talk about it. And then when I do talk about it, I get these goblins on the post on YouTube talking about how, oh, you're a drama queen. You're so pathetic. I can't believe you would do this. This guy is saying the worst stuff imaginable, and you're mad that I said these people are bad. The same thing happened with Roots of Orthodoxy. We said all along that guy was a fraud. Everybody, oh, Dyer's so mean. He's butthurt because it's a successful channel. Dyer. And then lo and behold, he's a fraud. He's grifting the whole time, as I told you. But I'm the bad guy because I said it. See, this is so insane. $10. I'm new to Orthodoxy. It seems that people are people. If someone claims to be of the faith but spouts a bunch of liberal ideas, I ignore them. Sorry that you have to deal with this, especially if you're correct. Well, I mean, it's part of it. And I haven't talked about any of this in 3 years. So this means that none of the people who fuss about me all day, there's no place for you to say, oh, he's a drama queen. I haven't talked about any of this stuff for 3 years. The last time we did a stream like this was with David Erhan. How many years ago? Let's see. Because I already know it. Oh, there he is again. It's all about him. The last time we talked about this was this. March 2023. So almost 3 years. So if you want more drama, here you go. You can go watch this one. Anemone, $5. I came across Mole Monastery when I explored Orthodoxy. Something about this Seraphim Aldea guy made me uneasy. I saw his icons and I ran. Marco Rupnik eyes. Yeah, the icons are hideous. So be sure and read Rachel's article, which demonstrates that there is known substantial subversion. Also, in order to become toxically masculine, to not at all be like the Seraphim Aldea guy, you can head on over to chalk.com and use the promo code J60Life. That's JAY60Life, JAY60LIFE, to get 60% off all those great Chalk products, including the Performance Stack. This is a special offer that the boys over at Chalk have given out for Christmas. It's a papal Christmas Jubilee blessing. You can get 60% off Chalk for this Christmas gift, this Christmas blessing from Pope Dyer, using the promo code J60Life at our sponsor, chalk.com, CHOQ.com. All right. Anyway, thank you guys so much.